Her dead husband was at the wedding she photographed, based on true events. Everyone loves a good wedding photo. The joy, the tears, the perfect moments frozen in time. But what happens when you capture something that was never meant to be seen? Like your dead husband, standing in the background, smiling, at someone else's wedding. Music stops abruptly. My name is Aisha Okafor. I'm a wedding photographer in Lagos. And this is the story of how one photo exposed the truth about my husband's death, uncovered a 2 billion naira conspiracy, and changed everything I thought I knew about love. But first, let me take you back to the day he died, or at least, the day I thought he died. Aisha Okafor had photographed over 500 weddings in her career, but nothing prepared her for what she discovered when editing the photos from the Chukwuembeki wedding. There, in the background of a candid reception shot, was her supposedly dead husband. He wasn't just similar looking, it was Chibueze. Same scar above his left eyebrow from their university football accident. Same warm smile. Same amber-flecked brown eyes. The man she had mourned for 5 years was very much alive, wearing an expensive agbada and speaking with one of the bridesmaids. I thought I was losing my mind, Aisha would later tell the detective. I must have stared at that photo for hours, zooming in until his face was just pixels, convinced I was seeing things. But Aisha Okafor wasn't crazy. Chibueze Okafor, her husband of 3 years who had supposedly died in a boating accident off the coast of Lagos, was very much alive. And that was just the beginning of the mystery. Their love story had been the kind people make movies about. Aisha, a struggling photographer, literally ran into Chibueze outside a cafe in Victoria Island, Lagos. He helped her pick up her scattered equipment, bought her a replacement Chapman drink, and by the end of the week, they were inseparable. Chibueze was everything she dreamed of, successful tech entrepreneur, philanthropist, and utterly devoted to her. He supported her photography dreams, helped her start her wedding photography business, and never complained about the long weekend hours she spent capturing other people's love stories. Looking back, Aisha would say, it was too perfect. But isn't that what we're taught to want? The fairy tale? The call came on a humid Tuesday. Chibueze's boat had been found capsized off the Lagos coast, where he'd gone for a business meeting. No body was recovered, but after weeks of searching, he was presumed dead. Aisha was devastated. I couldn't even grieve properly without a body, she recalled. Every time the phone rang, I thought it would be him saying there had been a mistake. The insurance company paid out 2 billion naira. Aisha donated most of it to marine rescue organizations, keeping only enough to maintain her photography business. She didn't want Chibueze's money. She just wanted Chibueze. 5 years passed. Aisha built her wedding photography business into one of Lagos's most sought-after services. She was known for capturing intimate moments others missed. The irony of this talent would not be lost on her. The Chukwuembeki wedding was a lavish affair at Eco Hotel and Suites. Aisha almost hadn't taken the job. It was her first time photographing a wedding on the anniversary of Chibueze's disappearance. But something told her to accept. That something turned out to be fate. After discovering Chibueze in the photo, Aisha didn't confront him. Instead, she hired private investigator Zainab Olawale, a former tech security expert who specialized in digital forensics. Most people would have rushed in, Zainab later explained. Aisha was smarter. She knew if Chibueze had faked his death, there had to be a reason. And that reason might be dangerous. Zainab's investigation uncovered a stunning truth. Chibueze Okafor wasn't Chibueze Okafor at all. His real name was Babajide Adebayo, and he had pulled the same disappearing act with 3 other women in different cities. Each time, he married them, built their trust, took out massive life insurance policies, and then died in accidents where his body was never found. But Aisha had been different. She was the only one who'd ever caught him. Instead of going to the police immediately, Aisha had an idea. She created a fake wedding photography website under an alias, featuring the kind of luxury weddings that would attract Chibueze's next target. Sure enough, within 2 months, she got an inquiry from Athabo Ndlovu, another of Chibueze's aliases, about photographing his upcoming wedding in Accra. I knew it was dangerous, Aisha admitted. But I needed to look him in the eye. I needed to know if any of it had been real. The sting operation was set up with the help of Interpol agent Folake Adeyemi, who had been tracking similar insurance fraud cases across West Africa. Aisha would pose as the photographer's assistant, while Zainab and an Interpol team monitored everything. The moment Chibueze saw Aisha at the Kempinski Hotel in Accra, his face showed something none of them expected: relief. "I've been waiting for you to find me," he said quietly, as Interpol agents surrounded them. "You were the only one who could." The full story emerged during the investigation. Chibueze Babajide had been forced into the insurance scam scheme by a powerful criminal syndicate that had threatened his family in Enugu. Each fake death and insurance payout had gone to them. But falling in love with Aisha hadn't been part of the plan. "I couldn't bear to see her hurt," he confessed. "But I couldn't stay without putting her in danger. Disappearing was the only way to protect her." The criminal syndicate was eventually taken down, thanks to Chibueze's testimony and Aisha's evidence. 13 people were indicted, including 2 insurance executives and a prominent magistrate. Today, Aisha still photographs weddings, but with a different perspective. "I look for the real moments now," she says. "The imperfect ones. They're usually more honest." Chibueze served 2 years in prison for his role in the fraud scheme. Aisha visited him every week. After his release, they started over: new names, new city, new life. But Aisha kept her photography business. "Sometimes the best love stories aren't perfect," she says, adjusting her camera at another wedding. "Sometimes they're messy and complicated and take unexpected turns. But that doesn't make them any less real." Aisha and Chibueze's story became the subject of a best-selling book and an award-winning Nollywood documentary. They now work together helping other victims of insurance fraud and coercion across Africa. Their foundation, Second Chances Africa, provides resources for people trapped in criminal schemes who want to break free. And at every wedding she photographs, Aisha looks a little closer at the background of her shots. Not because she expects to find any more presumed dead husbands, but because she knows now that the real story isn't always the one in focus. "Life is like photography," she often says at their foundation's events. "Sometimes the most important truth is hiding in the background, waiting for someone to care enough to look closer." Their story continues to inspire others across the continent, proving that sometimes the greatest love stories aren't about perfect beginnings, but about how we handle the complicated middles and unexpected endings. And sometimes, just sometimes, those endings turn out to be new beginnings in disguise.